You know what I've been thinking? The kitchen doesn't need to be that big. It's such a waste to dedicate that much space to it. I'd rather use that space for a home theater in the living room. A projector and 5.1 surround sound, that's always been my dream. I also need a gaming room. I'm planning to stream too, so I want the walls soundproofed and the lights all RGB.
What?
And make sure the backyard's designed so we can have a big dog. Throw in some artificial turf, a wooden deck, and a barbecue area too.
Hey, I've been listening and I didn't hear a single thing about what I want.
Well, this is my dream house, isn't it? We're married now, so shouldn't our life be centered around what works for me?
My family's funding this house so you can chase your dream, and you're not even grateful?
I am grateful, okay? But I mean, I'm the one marrying into your family, right? I'm stepping up as the face of the family, so I need to make sure I look good.
So basically, you're saying you want all the control without any responsibility? Can you quit playing the convenient son-in-law act?
Playing? That's mean. I am thinking about this seriously, you know? This just proves how committed I am to building this house. Honestly, though, I don't even like the location. I'd much rather live in the city so my coworkers can drop by easily.
Excuse me? That land was a precious gift from my dad, and you just insult it like it's nothing? I can't believe this.
Come on. There's barely a grocery store nearby, and Uber doesn't even go out there. It's just not practical for me.
Stop making everything about what's convenient for you. I've told you again and again, this is about building a home for our family.
I am thinking about our family. That's exactly why comfort has to come first. If we settle now, we'll be miserable later. And, you know, the house has to match my image, status and style included. I mean, I've got a reputation to keep as the perfect husband.
Wow, you are so full of yourself. It's honestly embarrassing.
Don't say embarrassing, come on. This is supposed to be the fun part where we dream big. Being too realistic just kills your soul.
My dream is to have a home where our family can be happy together. Your dream is a house that makes you look good. They're total opposites.
No. I mean, if we hire help, like a housekeeper or whatever, we could totally make both work, right? I've been making a bit more money lately, you know.
What? There's no way your salary can cover that. When you say a bit more, are you referring to something like a grocery store salary?
Couldn't we just ask your dad for a little help? I mean, I am pretty sure he's kind of fond of me.
Whatever. My name is Rebecca Smith. People I work with and my friends often refer to me as Becca. People often say I come off as cheerful and responsible, but around the 2-year mark of our marriage, my life slowly started to fall apart. The reason behind it was my husband, Scott. At first, it was just little things like, is he getting more short-tempered? But that quickly turned into cold, condescending words and behavior. Eventually, he stopped coming home altogether like it was totally normal. I've always cared a lot about how people see me, so I didn't talk to anyone. I was even scared to consider divorce. All I could do was stay quiet and endure it. And my husband took full advantage of that silence to do whatever he wanted. Before long, he was openly acting like he was cheating on me.
Hey, just giving you a heads up, alright? Don't want you whining about it later.
What's going on?
I'm not going to need dinner tonight, or tomorrow, or the day after. Honestly, your cooking's always the same and I'm sick of it. And being around you is such a drag. We don't talk, the vibe's off, it's just stressful. I'm seriously exhausted.
Wait, so this is your excuse for barely coming home this whole month? We've basically been living like strangers, and you always show up when I'm not here. I can't help but think you're doing it on purpose. Can you really call this a marriage? A couple is supposed to support each other. Right now, we're just going through the motions.
Jesus, what are you even trying to say? All this roundabout talk is really starting to tick me off.
Your mom calls me almost every day saying she wants to see her grandkid. The pressure is intense, but with the way things are between us, having a child just isn't realistic. You know, this isn't the kind of environment to raise a kid in, right? What exactly do you see happening from here? Are you planning to keep living like this? Do you seriously think this is okay?
Can you just shut up? I'm not planning on having kids, and I can just throw some nonsense at my mom to make her drop the subject.
This isn't something you can just lie your way through. I'm at my limit. I'm fed up with being with someone who doesn't listen to me or notice me.
Then stop talking to me, okay? You're stressing yourself out over stuff that has nothing to do with me. I can't deal with this kind of drama. I literally have a physical reaction to this heavy emotional crap.
Wow, you really just run away the second things get uncomfortable. You can't even have a real conversation. What does that say about you as a person?
I need my own time, okay? I'm already under pressure at work. Just let me have some peace at home. Maybe you've got time to sit around here, but I'm working every single day. I'm exhausted.
You keep saying you're working, but it's my family's company, isn't it? Stop acting all high and mighty when you're just coasting in a family-run business. I've heard stuff, like how you're on your phone during meetings and not really pulling your weight.
That's just what it looks like. Behind the scenes, I'm actually handling stuff that takes strategy and brain power. I'm working my butt off too. Do you even know how much pressure comes with the title of section manager? I'm stuck between the bosses and the team, constantly taking heat from both sides. It's exhausting.
Oh, give me a break. Then why do you spend every day laughing it up with that new girl at work? You two seem awfully close. People are starting to notice, but to me, it just looks like you're cheating.
What? That's ridiculous. Seriously? Can't believe you'd fall for some dumb rumor like that. Are you out of your mind? I'm basically the outsider who married in, remember? I'm walking on eggshells every day, trying not to mess up. People whisper behind my back, calling me the guy who got in through connections. You have no idea how hard it's been for me. And you think I've got the time or energy to mess around with a new hire? Quit jumping to conclusions with your wild imagination.
So all that talk about you and that girl, is it really just a misunderstanding? You're telling me you never crossed the line?
Cheating's honestly more trouble than it's worth. You've got to lie, sneak around, constantly watch your back. It's exhausting, right?
So why can't you just confidently say that you didn't do it? You always dodge the question or say something vague. Obviously, I'll suspect that you're hiding something. You keep brushing things off and acting shady. It's no wonder I don't trust you.
All right. If you're going to keep accusing me, then let me be clear. Who cares? Let's just get divorced. Divorce. That's what you want, isn't it?
Wait, you can't just spring that on me. I need time to process. You can't just throw that word around like it means nothing.
I'm ready whenever. If we're splitting up, that's fine by me. But you're the one who's going to have a problem. Well, not you exactly. More like your dad. He's the type who's obsessed with appearances and what people think, right? If word got out that his daughter got divorced, he'd probably lose his mind. Guys so uptight, it's honestly hilarious. If you let that stuffy old man know you want a divorce from me, he'll totally go off the rails. And you're the kind of person who lives to please your parents. No way you'd ever go against him.
So that's what this is. You using my weakness to your advantage just to do whatever you want. You're unbelievable. If only I had faced my feelings back then. I really regret it now. Marrying someone like you? What was the point of my life up to now?
Like I said, if you want a divorce, I'll give it to you. But you won't, will you? So just shut up and do what I tell you to do.
Honestly, looking back now, I don't know why I didn't just leave him right then and there. Like he said, I let fear of what people would think, or disappointing my dad, override how I really felt. But at the time, I thought if I just held on a little longer, maybe he'd change. I really was a fool. And then, our dream home was finished. Construction had already begun before his complete transformation, and when it was all wrapped up, I was left thinking, what on earth am I supposed to do with a house this enormous? Still, part of me hoped that, once the house, his dream house was complete, maybe he'd come around. But of course, that hope was crushed.
Hey, I need to talk to you about something.
What's going on all of a sudden?
My bad. Even though my dream house is finally done, you being here is the biggest source of stress. The vibe is so heavy. Living with your sighs and complaints every day, it's like torture. I want my peaceful space back.
Excuse me? What's that supposed to mean? Are you saying my existence is the problem? I seriously don't get what you're trying to say.
I mean it literally. Just being here, you stress me out. Your presence is way too much. Can't you just, be quiet or something? Honestly, even just seeing your face when I come home wears me out. This house is huge, so maybe you should live somewhere else. I just want to relax by myself.
You've got to be kidding me. Our new home is supposed to be for the family. What am I even doing here then? We already barely see each other more than half the week. It's basically like we live apart. Even so, I was still trying to make this work as a family. I thought maybe once the house was finished, you'd change a little. I held onto that last shred of hope like an idiot.
Wait, you were still hoping for that? Sorry, but I never thought I owed you anything like that from the start. And come on, fake marriages are normal these days. As long as it looks fine on the outside, who cares? I just want to live my life the way I want.
Wow, as if you haven't already been doing whatever you want. Did you really think I didn't know? You and that new girl at work? Something's clearly going on. Even with everyone watching, you still act like that? It's unbelievable. And that's not all. I've got proof. All the WhatsApp messages, the photos. I've got everything. You're not talking your way out of this.
Well, yeah. It's not like I was trying to hide it or anything. Even if you found out, I really couldn't care less. I'm not into all that sneaky thrill stuff, you know? It's not like I was flaunting the dates or anything. I just didn't care anymore if it got out.
I'm honestly speechless. Do you even understand what you've been doing? It's like trampling on other people's feelings has become second nature to you. How far do you need to go to humiliate me? What am I to you anyway?
Then how about we just get this divorce over with? I've brought it up more than once. You're the one dragging your feet and refusing to move forward. Believe it or not, I'm still a guy. I can't handle living a dried-up, loveless life. No affection, that's basically torture. It's not even cheating. It's more like a necessary expense, right? Just let it slide as a way for me to blow off steam. In fact, why don't you go find some guy and have fun too? I'm totally cool with that.
Wow, I didn't think you could sink this low.
About the divorce papers, I already signed and gave them to you, didn't I? Don't act like you didn't remember. That was my answer, and I haven't changed my mind one bit. No regrets, no second thoughts. But you've been dragging your feet, coming up with excuse after excuse. All talk, no action. And let's be real. Your hesitation isn't even about you. It's about all the people around you. Worried about your appearance, your reputation, what the neighbors might think. So come on. Can't you just let a little cheating slide? Getting worked up over something like this? Kind of narrow-minded, don't you think?
This has nothing to do with being narrow or open-minded. Do you even realize how much you've benefited from my family? You're getting paid way more than you're worth, basically treated like a board member. And yet, you don't even try to respect that position. You were given a role way above your experience, but you show zero responsibility. You barely contribute to our finances, and meanwhile, you're out living large. Who do you think makes that lifestyle possible? And on top of all that, you're messing around with another woman? I don't even have words. You've completely lost sight of your own position.
But come on, your family's loaded, right? So it's not like me benefiting a little hurts anyone. Honestly, if I knew I'd get nagged this much over every little thing, I wouldn't have married you either. And why did I marry you? To be real with you, yeah, part of it was for the money. I'm not even sorry about it.
Are you seriously saying that? You really married me with that mindset? I can't believe this.
Serious or not, I was reserved at first, but your dad was so obsessed with appearances and reputation. It was suffocating. The second I realized he'd never let us get divorced no matter what, something flipped in me. I was like, fine, I'll just use everything I can to my advantage. Living selfishly is a skill too, don't you think?
I can't even begin to process how low you'll go. You're not just using me, you're using my dad too? If he ever found out what you just said, there's no way he'd let it slide. He's holding back now, but if he knew everything, he'd...
I'll be fine, really. Back in the day, I wanted to be an actor, so I'm actually pretty decent at faking it. A little change in tone, a certain look on my face, it's easy to convince people. So fooling one old man, that's light work for me.
After that, Scott completely stopped coming home, like he'd just given up pretending. Whenever there was a family event, like a memorial service, he'd show up and play the part of the perfect husband without missing a beat. No one around us saw his true colors. Some of our relatives even said they were jealous, calling him the ideal husband. But that doesn't mean I was totally alone. The board members at my dad's company and my mom saw right through him. Still, no one was allowed to challenge my dad, who had become blindly loyal to his image. And then, something totally unexpected happened.
Hey, is he okay? Why didn't you call me sooner? I'm still part of the family, you know? Is it true your dad collapsed?
I called you multiple times. Who was the one not answering? That'd be you.
I didn't think it was something serious. He seemed fine when I saw him at the office the other day.
It was sudden brain hemorrhage. The doctor said we caught it late, and the next few days are critical.
Are you serious? What hospital is he in? I'm heading there now.
Don't bother. We've got everything under control here. Your presence would only complicate things. The only time we've seen you in the last 3 years was at family gatherings. What makes you think you even deserve to be here? What? You planning to fake some tears at the hospital and fish for sympathy from everyone?
Oh yeah, that's actually not a bad idea. Play the role of the kind, caring son-in-law. That'd totally boost my image. Maybe those old guys on the board would finally start respecting me. They've never liked me, you know? Jealousy, that's all it is. I mean, I've climbed the ladder without even trying, and I'm next in line to be CEO. Of course, those old dudes are bitter about it.
How can you say stuff like that when my dad's in critical condition? You're seriously messed up. Just so you know, even if you can fool my dad, you'll never fool me or my mom. If something happens to him, you have no idea what's going to happen to your position.
Relax. Your dad already wrote stuff in his will. That totally works in my favor. Man, it's been a long road. Do you have any idea how exhausting it is dealing with that old man? Drinking stuff I didn't even want, buttering him up, pretending to be the obedient son-in-law. But all of that was for this moment. My time on top is just around the corner.
If you think everything's going to go your way, you're dead wrong. I'm not letting you get away with this.
Say whatever you want. No matter what you try, a will is the ultimate trump card. You can't undo that with your feelings, idiot.
Despite the doctor's best efforts, my father passed away, but I was able to say goodbye properly. He was stubborn, hard-headed, and never listened to anyone. But he raised me with so much love. And in the end, he gave me the greatest gift of all. The funeral went smoothly, but since the news came so suddenly, the company was in chaos. I helped from morning to night until things finally started to calm down. It was finally time to wrap things up with that disappointing husband of mine.
Man, I'm white. Didn't realize funerals were this exhausting. Not that I like thinking about it, but when I die, just do a small family funeral for me. Honestly, even with something huge like that, it's not like I'm going to cry or be moved. It's not like I'll be there to see any of it. Still, that old man got sent off with a ceremony way more extravagant than necessary. At least, he probably went out feeling good, for once. If he still had complaints after all that, he deserved some cosmic payback. As the star of this show, once in a lifetime, I guess he got a decent send-off. Fitting for the head of a major company. The venue was top tier and the guest list was next level. Did you see all those politicians and big-name execs lined up in there? Gave me the chills, honestly. That's not something you run into in a regular life like mine. But, thinking about it, I guess one day I'll be the one standing in that spot. It still doesn't feel real. It's weird. I never really felt it before, but watching that funeral made me think, I'm next. Not going to lie, it didn't feel all that bad.
Okay, I've been listening to you ramble, but what are you even going on about? You're completely off topic. You're talking like it's a done deal that you're the next CEO. Who exactly decided that?
It's obvious, isn't it? The moment I married into the family, it was already set in motion. That was all part of the plan. I put up with a lot and played my role just to make it happen.
Wow. You really love projecting your own fantasies as facts, don't you? No one said a single word about any of that.
Doesn't matter. Things are already heading that way. It's just a matter of time. Looks like I'm finally going to be the CEO. It's kind of emotional. Anyway, now that your dad's gone, let's call it quits.
Excuse me?
But I'm keeping the $20 million inheritance and the mansion. I'm the son-in-law, the official heir, and I put up with a lot just to stay on your dad's good side. So I deserve that inheritance, plain and simple. And that mansion you're living in, that place is filled with my personal touches.
You never even lived there once, though.
That's because you are still living there. But once we're divorced, you'll be moving out. Oh, and since I let you live in that mansion for the past 3 years, you owe me 3 years' worth of rent.
Excuse me?
I mean, I could let you pay it in installments, but if you do, I'm adding fees. So the total comes to $40,000. Divorce, fresh start, total freedom. Man, I feel amazing.
What are you even talking about? We've been divorced for 3 years.
What?
We've already divorced. If you don't believe me, go check the records yourself.
Wow. What are you even saying right now? You can't just drop something like that out of nowhere. You can't even process it. Are you trying to mess with me or something? Divorced? Even as a joke, that's not funny. You never said anything like that before. It doesn't feel real at all. I showed up to the family gatherings like normal. And I was at your dad's funeral, wasn't I? Now you're telling me I was a former husband the whole time? That's ridiculous. Come on. Everyone treated me like I was still part of the family. No one said a word and no one suspected anything. If you're going to claim we're divorced, at least make up something a little more believable. No one's going to buy this nonsense. If you're going to lie, come up with something better. This isn't even funny. It's just embarrassing to watch.
But I'm not lying. I've told you this is real. You have no idea how long I've been preparing for this.
All right then, let me ask you. If we're really divorced, when and how did that even happen? I don't remember ever filling out divorce papers, and I definitely never heard about them getting submitted. It's not even in my memory. And if you file them behind my back, that's forgery, isn't it? That makes you a criminal, you know that?
Are you seriously saying that? You really don't remember? You flung those divorce papers to me and said, I'm ready to divorce you at any moment. You really don't remember how awful you were that day, do you? Not that you've ever cared how much it hurt me. But I didn't throw those papers away. I kept them. You basically said I could use them whenever, and I made sure that counted as clear intent. I filed for divorce through the court and had everything processed properly. It's legal, it's finalized, and there's nothing invalid about it.
What? Are you kidding me? No one ever told me anything that serious.
I didn't tell you because I knew you'd try to stop it the second you found out. That's why I kept quiet. And you know just as well as I do how against divorce my father was. That's why I hesitated for so long too. But eventually, I realized as long as it looked okay on the outside, that was enough. We could keep it quiet and no one would question it. Well, I kept it from my dad all the way up to the very end.
Wait, hold on. Are you serious right now? But listen, I've still got a trump card. My guaranteed win. I'm talking about the will your dad left us. That thing is airtight. It's a legally protected official document. You're totally forgetting how your dad saw me. He named me as his successor, formally. It's written clearly, I entrust the company to Scott, and it says the inheritance goes to me too. As long as that exists, no one can argue with it. Divorce or not, that doesn't just erase the will's power, right? That's how the law works. My position isn't going anywhere.
Well, hate to break it to you, but that will, it's no longer valid.
What did you just say?
You remember when my dad collapsed, you didn't even bother to respond? I called you over and over and you ignored me every time. You didn't show up at the hospital until after he passed. But right after he collapsed, he was still conscious. We could talk. And that's when I told him the truth. I told him we were divorced.
What?
And that wasn't all. I brought every piece of evidence showing how badly you betrayed me. Photos, message threads, rumors from the office, everything.
Wait, are you serious? No way.
You stopped coming home right after we got married and spent every night out. And not just that, you got involved with that new girl at work too. I told my dad all of it. I laid out the facts, no secrets, no sugarcoating. And then that stubborn old man looked at me with tears in his eyes and said, I was wrong. I'm truly sorry.
But he only said that, right? That's not enough to override an official will.
That's why I called a lawyer immediately. Right then and there, we reviewed the will with my dad, and he officially revoked it on the spot. So the future where you become CEO, it doesn't exist. Not anywhere. No matter how badly you want it, it's never going to happen. That house, that's mine too. You have no say in anything anymore because now, we're just strangers.
No way. After all I've been through, what was it all for?
Right now, I'm completely swamped with company matters. There are meetings and legal procedures piling up. And honestly, I don't have time to deal with you. I'll contact you once things settle down, but until then, stay quiet. There's a lot we still need to discuss, like the settlement. That needs to be handled properly. And just so you know, trying to hide anything is pointless. There's nowhere left to run.
Got it.
I'm pretty sure Scott, ex-husband, thought he could stay on at the company with his executive perks, even after the divorce. No one ever called him out directly, and he walked around acting like the next CEO, treating everyone like they were beneath him. But life's not that easy, and someone needed to teach him that. And now, the time has come to bring down that arrogant jerk who spent all these years looking down on me. Scott and his young partner, I decided to just send them both straight to hell. It's been a while. I texted you today because there's something I wanted to tell you. A few things have been finalized, so I thought I'd give you an update.
If it's about the settlement, I'll just pay it all at once. I've got a bonus coming next month anyway.
So you'll pay it all in one go. That helps. I'm more than ready to cut ties completely.
That all? Then can I go now? I've got a date with Layla coming up. I mentioned our divorce and she shouted, "That old hag should have brought it up sooner," and just went off the rails.
We're not done talking yet.
Huh? What else is there to talk about? If it's about Layla, I've got everything under control. No big deal.
I'm not worried about that. Actually, if anyone should be worried, it's you.
What's that supposed to mean? If you've got something to say, just spit it out already.
You don't need to come to the office tomorrow. You're fired.
What?
Don't what me. I said you're fired. So yeah, no bonus. And obviously, no severance either.
What are you talking about? You can't do this just because we got divorced. That's got nothing to do with my job. I could sue you for wrongful termination, you know?
It's not wrongful at all. You've been doing whatever you wanted for years. All the executives said the same thing. You're arrogant and you never actually do your job. And on top of that, you got involved with a new hire, and the two of you were slacking off together.
What? I do my job?
You dumped your work on younger colleagues, and when they spoke up, didn't you say, "I'm the next CEO, you got a problem with that?" That's textbook workplace harassment. You made people quit because of it. Oh, and accounting looked into it. You've been filing fake travel reports. That's embezzlement. Still think this is wrongful termination?
I mean...
It was finalized at yesterday's board meeting. The vote was unanimous. You're fired. And of course, you're paying back the money you stole. You've got 1 month. If you miss the deadline, we're going to the police, so be ready.
Wait, come on. How did it come to this? I'm married into the family. I've worked hard, haven't I? You could at least give me some credit for that. Now it's like I'm the bad guy for everything.
You're trying to blame everyone else now, but the truth is, every bit of this is on you. You ran from reality and dumped your responsibilities on other people. Did I ever say it was okay for you to cheat on me? Did I ever ask you to betray people and hurt them in the process? Not once. And all that workplace harassment, pushing your staff until they quit? Who told you to do that? Even common sense should have told you that's wrong. Stealing company funds and using them for your own entertainment? That's serious betrayal of trust. Do you even realize how big of a crime that is? No one asked you to do that. No one ordered you to. You just went off the rails chasing your own selfish desires and ego.
But
You've made your bed, and now you have to lie in it. You're not a kid anymore. This is what happens when you go through life thinking the rules don't apply to you. Before blaming everyone else, maybe you try taking responsibility for your own actions. Anyone looking at this would say the same thing. It's all your fault. People like you need to start over from zero. You need to learn, down to your bones, what real accountability and consequences feel like.
No, but wait, just hold on. You're seriously saying I'm really fired? You're not just messing with me right now. You're actually going through with this? Okay, look. I'll apologize for everything I've done. I'll go apologize directly to the new CEO. I don't want to leave the company. Please, just give me one more chance. I'm begging you. I swear, I've learned my lesson. Just give me a little more time.
Sorry, but the next CEO is me. Even if you beg, that decision isn't changing. I have responsibilities to carry over. I never thought this was going to be easy, but I'm ready to face it all and take responsibility. Every board member said they'd support me, so I'm standing on my own 2 feet. Yeah, sometimes the pressure gets to me, but I'll turn even that into strength, because that's what being a leader means. I'm not like you. I don't run away.
Unbelievable. I never thought you'd actually become CEO.
As for your girlfriend, she's going to be retrained properly. Time to pay for living in a fantasy. She's being reassigned to the executive assistant department. It's known as the strictest division in the company. There's no escape. And you? Pack your things today. There's no place left for you here.
No, wait. You've got it all wrong. Just let me explain.
It's too late now. The decision's been made. All that's left is to carry it out. I'm not interested in hearing excuses or complaints. The lies and pain you spread are finally just coming back to you. And Scott, I don't hate you. If anything, I'm actually grateful. Because of you, I think I've become truly strong. It's ironic, but thank you.
I don't even know what to say.
After getting fired, the first thing Scott did was sell his brand new car. Seems he realized a little too late he was drowning in loan payments. He had no choice but to pay back the company funds in full. So he gave up his condo too. Now he's stuck in a cramped studio above a strip mall, the kind with thin walls and a leaky faucet. No real kitchen, barely any space, and the bathroom's practically falling apart. As for finding a new job, yeah, that ego of his didn't exactly help. Every place he sent his resume to shut the door on him. No one wants to hire a hollow man who only got where he was through connections. In the end, I heard he's working part-time at a 24-hour supermarket. The time I happened to see him asking, "Do you need a bag?" with a blank stare, I almost burst out laughing. The same guy who used to act like a king, now living a life where he hesitates to spend $2 on a bottle of soda. And that girl he cheated with, she was reassigned to our executive assistant department, but she quit almost immediately. Apparently, she cried and said, "This isn't what I signed up for." Well, maybe she shouldn't have gotten involved in the first place. And the cherry on top, she dumped him right after. Why? For her, being with someone who has no future just isn't feasible. Guess they both had pretty terrible judgment. Scott's barely scraping by now, picking up day labor gigs and graveyard shifts at warehouses. Even then, he can't stick with anything, and I hear he's been calling up relatives asking for help. After all that arrogance and cruelty he threw my way, this is where he ended up. He got exactly what he deserved. As for me, I've already started moving forward. From now on, I plan to build my life on my own terms, step by step.
Thank you for watching. Please rate the video and subscribe to our channel. See you in the next video.